The Los Angeles wildfires. What is happening right now? Los Angeles is under siege as wildfires ravage multiple regions, leaving destruction and despair in their wake. The fires have spread across areas like Malibu, Eaton, and Palisades, consuming over 250,000 acres of land. Thousands of residents have been forced to evacuate their homes, with shelter filing up at an alarming rate. Entire neighborhoods are engulfed in flames and lives are hanging in the balance. The first reports of the fire came in from Topanga Canyon, with initial investigations pointing to power lines damaged by high winds as the likely cause. Fueled by dry vegetation and relentless Santa Ana winds, the fire quickly grew out of control, spreading at a rate of 2,000 acres per hour. Fires officials have declared it one of the most aggressive wildfires this year. The fires are now advancing rapidly, threatening critical infrastructure such as power plants, highways, and water reservoirs. Massive traffic jams are forming as Spanish residents are fleeing the affected areas. Hospitals are on high alerts, treating smoke inhalation cases and other fire-related injuries. Schools and businesses have been closed indefinitely, and the entire region is enveloped in a thick blanket of hazardous smoke, reducing visibility and air quality. The government machinery in action. Over 3,500 firefighters supported by 450 fire engines, 12 aerial water-dropping helicopters, and 8 firefighting planes are tirelessly battling the flames. Crews are working around the clock facing extreme heat, hazardous smoke, and unpredictable winds. However, the battle is uphill with containment levels still below 30%. Emergency shelters have been set up across the region, with volunteers and organizations stepping in to provide food, water, and basic necessities to displaced families. The scale of the crisis has stretched emergency service to the limits and resources are running thin. Call for federal assistance. In the wake of the LA crisis, the California Governor Gavin Newsom has requested federal assistance to support firefighting efforts, citing the overwhelming scale of the disaster. The National Guard has also been deployed to assist with evacuations and provide logistical support. Yet, as the fire continues to rage, more questions arise whether these measures are enough to contain the situation. The causes of the fire. Wildfires of this magnitude are rarely the result of a single factor. Instead, they are a deadly cocktail of natural and human elements. Natural causes. Dry climate. California has been grappling with one of the worst droughts in decades. Rainfall has been scarce, leaving vegetation parched and highly flammable. Santa Ana winds. These dry, gusty winds are infamous for fanning the flames of wildfires. Reaching speeds up to 70 miles per hour, they make containment effort nearly impossible by carrying embers across vast distances. Lightning strikes. While not confirmed in this case, lightning has been a common natural cause in past wildfires. Human-centric causes. Arson and negligence. Authorities are investigating multiple incidents of suspected arsons. For example, one suspect has been arrested for allegedly starting a small fire that contributed to the larger blaze. In another incident, a man was caught using a blowtorch near a fire zone and has been taken into custody. Investigators are working to determine if these acts were deliberate or accidental. Negligent actions such as discarded cigarettes or poorly maintained machinery are also frequent culprits. Utility failures. Power lines sparking during high winds are a recurring issue in California. In this case, utility company Southern California Edison has acknowledged that their equipment may have been involved in the ignition of at least one fire. Projected timeline. Experts warn that these fires could take weeks to fully extinguish. Much depends on weather conditions, including potential rain and the behavior of the winds. The firefighters are hopeful but realistic about the challenges ahead. The government mismanagement and failures. As devastating as these wildfires are, many believe they could have been mitigated or prevented with better planning, funding, and management. While natural factors and arsonists have sparked the flames, the response to the crisis has exposed significant shortcomings in California's wildfire preparedness. The critics point out to the glaring $17 million reduction in the annual fire prevention budget, leaving firefighting agencies underfunded and ill-equipped. Repairs and maintenance in critical areas such as storage facilities near fire-prone zones have been delayed for over a year. These delays have hampered access to essential firefighting equipment and supplies. Fire hydrants in several neighborhoods were found to be empty or had inadequate water pressure. further hindering firefighting efforts. The lack of proper maintenance and oversight has left many questioning the priorities of local authorities. Residents and experts alike are calling out the absence of a comprehensive fire prevention plan, noting that urban development in high-risk areas continues unchecked. Also, the lack of investment in modern firefighting technologies has also come under scrutiny. Many firefighting units still rely on outdated equipment, while neighboring states have adopted advanced systems. This has forced California's firefighters to work under extreme conditions with limited resources, further endangering their lives. Lack of preparedness. Despite California's history of wildfires, the state prevention measures remain inadequate. Controlled burns, which are crucial for reducing flammable vegetation, have been underutilized due to budget cuts and bureaucratic delays. Early warning systems and community education programs are either outdated or insufficient to address the growing wildfire threats. Inadequate response. Reports indicate that some fire hydrants in critical areas were empty or non-functional, leaving firefighters scrambling for water sources. Delays in deploying aerial resources like water-dropping planes and helicopters have hampered initial containment efforts too. Firefighters are working with limited manpower due to previous budget cuts to emergency services, leaving them overwhelmed by the scale of the disaster. Poor infrastructure and neglect. California's aging power grid has been a consistent source of wildfire ignition. Despite repeated incidents, utility companies have failed to make necessary upgrades, often prioritizing profits over safety. States' oversight has been lax, allowing these dangerous trends to continue unchecked. Public frustration. Residents are voicing their anger over the government's slow and ineffective response. "We're left to fend out for ourselves," says one evacuee. "There's no coordination, no support, and no accountability." Conclusion. The wildfires in Los Angeles are more than just a natural disaster. They are a searing warning, demanding urgent action. These flames have not just consumed homes, forests, and lives. They have exposed the cracks in our preparedness, infrastructure, and priorities to deal with such calamities. California's fight against wildfires can no longer be reactive or seasonal. Without bold reforms in wildfire prevention, emergency response systems, and sustainable development, these disasters will grow more destructive, leaving behind a trail of ash and heartbreak year after year. Even in the face of such devastation, Los Angeles refuses to fall. Its people come together, rebuilding brick by brick, standing stronger with every challenge. This resilience is a testament to the city's unyielding spirit. But the question remains, how many more lives must be lost? How many more families displaced before we rise as a society and confront this crisis with the urgency it demands? In the end, the fires may rage and the embers may glow, but the spirit of Los Angeles burns brighter, and its resolve will never be extinguished. Let this not be a story of destruction, but a turning point for change.